Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Dave Stoop, the editors of the Life Recovery Bible, and we're going into Step 3 today. And when we look at Step 3, we see that there are these words that are so powerful, words like willing and decision, and I think probably the most powerful word in the English language is the word willingness. I really believe that, you can be aware of something, as in the first step. You can desire something, as we talked about in the second step. But until you're willing to do something, they're of no value. It's willingness that separates recovery from just awareness and desire.
And the willingness is a decision.
Yeah.
You don't just typically you don't gradually become willing. It's I choose to be willing.
Yeah.
And so I make a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to God and to His care. It's interesting, especially for people who are more aware of the Bible and what the Bible talks about in terms of our relationship with God. These first three steps are really the plan of salvation, the way that God designed us to open our lives and our hearts to Him and have a relationship with Him. And so there's a strong biblical foundation that we can see in these first three steps. In fact, when you come to this step, Paul urges his brothers and sisters. He said, "I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all He has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind He will find acceptable," as from Romans 12. There's that foundation. But now we come to, am I willing?
Yeah. And when you turn your will or your willingness over to the care of God, essentially you're saying, okay, I'm done with just trying to fight for my life, take care of myself on my own, but I'm truly going to turn my life over to the care of God. And the interesting thing about that is whenever we turn our life and our will over to God, when we're willing to make that bold move, He takes us back to relationship with other people.
Yeah, and we resist that. We have been resisting it because we think, well, then where do I fit into all of this? And there's such a paradoxical element to all of this. It doesn't make sense logically, to make this admission, to surrender, and then to be willing. It's like I'm giving up my freedom. But the paradox is, this is the way you find true freedom.
That's right.
And once I get my relationship with God right, my relationships with people begins to change, and my whole life begins to change, becomes more of what it was designed to be, and there's more fulfillment and more joy.
Right. So we come to kind of the first section of the 12 steps, and that is kind of a surrender section, these first three steps, where essentially it's, I can't do this. Second step, God can. And the third, I'm now willing to let Him do it, turn my will, my life over, and make that decision for the care of God to be the leading force in my life.